I don't know what to say. It's never ended this early on this show. Of all the years we've done it, we've never been here in this place before. We're going to talk about the series that wasn't right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked on Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked on Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked on Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. They can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on iHeartRadio, where I'm always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. I know today's outcome was not what we all wanted, but we're here with you throughout the whole season in the trenches, and we thank you, our loyal listeners. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be here. We got a lot to talk about this offseason, and we want you to go and subscribe to us so you know when we're going to be going live. We'll be here mostly every day this offseason, talking about all the latest rumors, news, anything that's going on. You can count on the Locked on Astros podcast for just keeping you up to date. So we'll be here for you. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here for you guys. And today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Brett, I'm really upset with the outcome of today's game. Not just that the Astros lost, but I went ahead and spent some big money to go ahead and upgrade my mic just so I don't have to have the headphones in. And it's a big, nice mic, kind of like the one you have right here. And then the Astros go ahead and lose. I got it mostly for the playoffs, and it was a game that was good. It was a good pitching duel for a little bit there. And then you had Hunter Brown give up that home run, and then the Astros rallied. I guess that's the best way to describe it, for the 2 runs. And then everything just fell apart. Everything fell apart with your best 2 relievers.
Look, this was a game where I was asked before on Louisiana radio if this was going to be a high scoring game or a low scoring game. And I said, no, if the Astros win, it'll be like 5-3. Well, it ended up being almost the opposite way. And when that home run was hit, I was like 10 rows over from it. I thought it was coming to the upper deck to our section. I'm like, I'll be darned if a Tiger home run falls into my glove. What am I going to do? Throw it back? Probably so. But Hunter Brown pitched his you-know-what off. Absolutely shoved today. I mean, the guy got into some trouble here or there, but did his job. Literally gave up the 1 run. And the Astros really just threw away opportunities that they had. The Tigers, when they had the 7th inning come up, there were times throughout the game later on where they had opportunities. Right. And they just did not capitalize. Jeremy Pena could not capitalize. And towards the end, it got super exciting. It felt like a playoff series. It was so funny, though, Eric. Every time the Tigers would do something, let's say like for that home run, there is a random group of Tigers fans, and I believe it's Tigers families, because typically whenever the visitors' families come, they sit behind one of the rows behind the third base dugout, up in the upper rows or in the middle sections right there. Okay. And they started chanting, "Let's go Tigers." And then every time they did that, Houston fans responded, "Let's go Astros." And even the whoever controls the sound started doing the little chant sound and everything. And so trying to drown them out. And it was just one of those things where you're just like, oh my gosh, like, please don't let this happen again. And I thought for sure we're going to have a game 3. For sure we're going to have a game 3. But when your offense fails to produce, until the very end, then it doesn't matter what happens in the box. So I'll get our background up here in a second.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because Hunter Brown, to his credit, he did give up that home run. It was, I don't want to say it was a cheapie. It hit the foul pole, but it was a situation where you're like, yeah, it's frustrating in that situation. But the Astros, they should have done better, but they didn't. They didn't in either game. They didn't get the big hits with runners in scoring position. Wait, we've heard this all season. This should not be anything that's brand new. You have the bullpen implosion. Yes, towards the end of the season, we saw a much better team, but we saw Josh Hader, but it's mostly Presley in this game. But to Presley's credit, it wasn't all on him. Yainer Diaz should have blocked that ball. And that ball got right by him. It bounced and got right to the dugout. And that kind of
did that ball hit the plate, Eric? I couldn't see it. From where I was sitting, did that ball hit the plate or the dirt?
I believe it hit the dirt as much as because he was going to try to frame the pitch and it went out of strike zone. And I was going back and forth between rooms when that happened, but I don't think it hit the plate. Somebody in the chat comments can go and tell me if it did, but I don't think it did. You should still try to block with your body or something like that. This is one of the things we know that Yainer Diaz is one of the best framer. He's a good framer out there, but we've seen this a lot. And unfortunately, in this situation, in a close game, the Tigers scored the 4 runs to take the lead. And it felt like Mario Ellie's kiss of death, his 3-pointer. And it just was like, game over, man. Game over.
Hold on. You can't give a Detroit. No. You can't put a Houston iconic moment on Detroit. You can't give them that advantage. Look, they beat us you can't give them that, Eric. Come on now. We can't have that. I can't let that happen. I can't let that slide. I was at the game 7 when the Rockets came back from, being down 0-2. I'm just saying, I know what you're saying. I get that. But look, this is a team that was untested, that was unproven, that doesn't have a single superstar on it, that doesn't have anybody that they picked up in a high dollar free agency move. There was no big trade deadline move. They literally traded away their best pitcher.
Second best
outside
pitcher.
Of Skubal. Well, yeah. Outside of Skubal's number 1,
right?
But Flaherty gets traded, and the Tigers are like, what? And they freaked out. And we talked about this with the guys. And I'm sure I saw Chris's reaction today. Those people are so happy. And I met some Detroit fans today at the game. And let me tell you, one guy said, I'm almost frustrated. I go, why? He goes, y'all are so nice. Why are y'all so, I don't get it. I was like, because we're Houston, man. I was like, now, if you were Yankees fans or Dodgers fans, it might be a little different story.
Us or Astros fans in general?
Astros fans in general. Okay. He said everybody at the stadium has been nice. Oh yeah, we treat visiting fans really well, unless they start beefs with us, and then we get all defensive. But this guy, it was a joy meet. I met about 10 different people from the Detroit area, and so that was good. Dude, it was full of ups and downs. Like, it was so frustrating because there were so many almost home runs. There were so many balls hit so well, and they just or there were line drives and they just didn't fall. And it was like, come on, one of these has to fall for us. And then Singleton gets up in the end, Eric. Singleton gets up and you're like, this right here, this moment, he's made for this moment. This is your moment, Singy. And I've criticized him. And I even retweeted about that. I retweeted his wife's tweet where she said, I'll be back in a while with words I can't talk or something. And I retweeted and I said, you know what? I had a lot of crap to say about this guy. I had a lot of negative things to say about this guy. And what did he do? He went to the ballpark and every damn day worked his tail end off and did everything he could to help this team win. And look, it just wasn't in the cards today. The Tigers, they may not be the better team on paper, but right now they're the better team than the Astros. And AJ Hinch has got this team playing, believing that they can go get that title.
Yes. So I don't know if overall the Tigers had the better talent, but in this game, in this series, they beat the Astros, and we're not going to argue that. So I know this whole offseason, we're going to go ahead and talk about where the Astros go from here. Does Justin Verlander come back? Does Alex Bregman come back? There's so much to talk about this offseason. So make sure you stick around with the Locked On Astros podcast. We're going to continue this conversation about this series, about this game. We'll go ahead and listen to your frustration. We're here for you. We'll be your counselors in this game. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Go to Booking.com today. Booking.yeah. You can find the right stay no matter where you go, even in your rival team's city. That's right. You know you secretly wanted to go to Boston or New York. Well, Detroit, you won't go there because they're coming here. But wherever the Astros hit along the way, you can go before they get there. Scope out the places. Check it out. Look at the great deals they have on bed, breakfast, on hotels, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more. Make your postseason a home run with this. And maybe it's time to taste test the competition. So go ahead and do that. Check it out. Booking.com is here for you. They got the best deals online, no matter what team you're rooting for this postseason. They can make you a fan of any U.S. city. And that's what you want, satisfaction when you travel on the road. Booking.com has so many choices across America. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball team's rival city. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
Hey guys, go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be here all off season. Mr. Twain, I know you said we'll see you next season. Why wait? We'll be here for you all off season. We're all the rumors, who are the Astros going to sign, who the Astros not going to sign. We'll be here, and we love postseason time, and that's why we're kind of frustrated that it's cut short. But the offseason, all the intrigue about what are the Astros going to do, what are the Astros not going to do, we're all going to be here for you guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be here for you. So all this excitement, yes, it may be over for now, but what will the Astros do to respond? Our hitting coach. I know a lot of people have been talking about the hitting coaches. It's somebody's got to take the fall, so to speak. I mean, maybe. I think Joe Espada, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that he did enough this season to earn another year, at least another couple years maybe. But they need to make some changes. There's too much talent on this team for them to just go quietly into the night like they did.
Well, I think, let's see. Okay. Hunter Brown, we talked about that. The bullpen, obviously. The bullpen is really where things fell apart. I was at the game with my friend Corbin, and we were talking about flipping the script. You know, why don't you go with your guy, Josh Hader, in the 8th, or keep Abreu in there, and then go Presley with the 9th. You know, give him that confidence back. Presley just he just didn't have it tonight, and there was an idea floated by Larry, the GM. He said, once Hunter Brown leaves, put in warm up Yusei Kikuchi and let him pitch the last few innings of the game, because you don't have tomorrow. You only have today. And had he gone in there and maybe shut things down, who knows? Maybe the Astros go to game 3. But of course, it's always hindsight. You know, hindsight's always 2020. That was an idea floated before the game even started. And you look at it and you're like, wow, man, that would have worked. But regardless of what pitching moves you made, you had opportunities to score more than the 2 runs that you scored. And the way that you scored the second run, you were lucky because Jose Altuve popped it up and it was caught foul and it was thrown home. And we were like, yeah, I mean, we were going ballistic. Those are things that I think all through the season, all through the offseason, I mean, that Astros fans are going to ask going into next year, like Espada, how's he going to handle the bullpen? Is Yusei Kikuchi going to come back? Yusei said he wanted to come back. He said, I would love to be in this clubhouse. I know this team has a lot more in it to win. And so right there, but even with the bullpen failing, you still kind of had hope. This ninth inning was a little different than the ninth inning when we were playing Seattle and we ended up winning with that walk-off by Yordan Alvarez. That team, that magic, I don't know that it exists anymore, Eric. My question to you is, how different will this team look after this year? I mean, this team, it's getting older. It's not getting younger. We need to get younger. We've got Melton killing the ball. We got Matthews killing the ball. We've got the future of our team waiting in the wings. They're on the tarmac. They're ready to take off. Which of those young players will come in this next year? But Alex Bregman today, Eric, could have played his last game as a Houston Astro. And when asked, what's the offseason going to hold for you? What's your goals? What's your expectations? And he said, I'm not worried about it. Why? Because that's my agent's job. I'll let Scott Boras deal with that. And then what did Jose Altuve say today?
Well, Altuve basically said that this is me illustrating it, but he basically said that I'm going to march into Jim Crane's office and I'm going to say, look, you need to go ahead and sign my best friend, Alex Bregman, and you didn't sign Carlos Correa. You need to go ahead and make up for it and keep my buddy in Houston, man. So,
yeah, no, I mean, he basically said, and this is what he said, Eric. Alex Bregman's been here for 9 years. Alex Bregman has given to this organization, and it's time that they pay him for what he's done. I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense.
Right.
But at what expense? Who else is out there? What teams will he go to? And Jose Altuve, they asked, what's it like exiting in the first round? He goes, it stinks. It hurts. We're heartbroken. This city comes out to cheer for us. It's heartbroken. Justin Verlander, after the game, said that he has plenty left in the tank. He will evaluate what happened this season. He learned from it. It was a freak injury. Oh, and there was an interesting quote by Mauricio Dubon, and it got some snickers and some laughs from the press behind him. And he said, that's the type of players we are, going out there, grinding our
dice off.
Yeah, our dice, like the dice that you roll up in Vegas, right? This is the Yusei Kikuchi quote, okay? I can see why Houston's a really good organization, really good team for years. And so hopefully there's a chance I'd like to come back. But also, this team recognized that, look, they want to come back. They don't like this feeling. And Justin Verlander said, I love it here. Bregman said, I love it here. Bregman said, I've made a home. I've raised my kid here. He goes, I wasn't married when I got here. Now I'm married and have a kid. Our home is in Houston. Justin Verlander said the crowd, he goes, they gave me a standing ovation after a crappy start. He goes, I love this city. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Justin Verlander may not be a Houston Astro, but it sounds like he will continue to pitch in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's definitely what he said. He doesn't know what his future holds for him, but he does want to continue pitching. This is not the end for him, and he wants to continue that. That we all kind of saw the writing on the wall. He said he wants to pitch till he's 45. He's got some milestones to reach. He wants to be one of those last. Justin Verlander's one of the dying breeds out there. So he has some milestones he wants to reach. And yes, it may take him a little while to get there, but he thinks that he can do it. Maybe he came back too soon from this injury, whatever. But I think some team, if it's not the Astros, some team will take a chance on him. Maybe he won't get the big contract that he did this season, but some team, if it's not the Astros, will give him a chance. But Justin Verlander also said on Hunter Brown, you could see the evolution of a powerhouse starting pitcher for years to come. And everybody was scared of this guy. The Tigers, that they were scared of facing this guy. And for them to get that home run, they're happy. And at that point, with the way the offense was going, it was kind of scary. It's like, is this it? But then it's just like the teasing, like coming back and getting those 2 runs in the 8th inning. It's like, okay, we have a chance. We're not going home today. And then to have it all ripped out from under us. And it's just like in game 1, most of the runs were scored in 1 inning. And with Framber Valdez, it was the 2nd inning. In this game, it was the 8th inning. And It just, you don't have to have the most veteran team sometimes. You don't have to have the
No.
best players. You just have to be playing good baseball.
Well, I
And that's
mean,
what
look,
the Tigers are doing.
well, let's go back to 2015 against the Royals. The Houston Astros had no business doing what they did, going to New York and surprising the Yankees. Of course, the Yankees weren't a good team in 2015. I mean, they weren't beating the Little League team that year. They were bad. And even Yankees fans were like, I don't know if you consider that like a hallmark moment. We sucked, and they were shocked they were even in that wild card game. It was just a 1 game rather than 3 game series. But in 2015, you talk about 1 inning where we're the 8th inning. We're close to, we win that game. I think the Astros going to win the series. The Astros could possibly go on and win that World Series in 2016. You'd be talking about another title in Houston. But we've been to the World Series, 5 times now? Is it 5 times? Is it we were there in 17, we're there in 19, 21, 22, 4 times. 22. 4 World Series in 7 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good run.
Still
And
nice
I
run.
would like to find
Yeah.
someone tell me another team that's in the league that's done the same thing. I'll wait and listen. I mean, think about it.
All right, guys, we're going to continue this conversation in a second. Thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you're listening to podcasts. Go and check us out.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com today. It's America's #1 sports book. Hey, NFL fans, you can start your season off with a big return. Kind of like Devin Hester, the Hall of Famer, used to do, but with the new rules and the kickoff rules, they don't let you do that anymore. But FanDuel hasn't changed. They've actually improved your experience. You can check out the latest stats, live, play-by-play, and so much more on the same page that you place your bets, right in the palm of your hand. That's right. You don't have to go to another website, another channel, another coverage. It doesn't matter because you've got it all right there. You'll get started today with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when, glad you asked, when you place your $5 bet, your first $5 bet at FanDuel.com. So place that $5 bet. You'll get $200 guaranteed in bonus bets at FanDuel.com, America's #1 sports.
Hey guys, go and check out PrizePicks. The Astros season is over, but that doesn't mean you got to get out of the action. Go ahead and download the app. It's really easy. All you have to do is download the app, and whoever the Tigers are playing, I guess we're going to become Tigers fans. Probably not. But whoever they're playing, whoever the Yankees are playing, you can still bet on how deep the pitcher goes, how many home runs Aaron Judge hits, how deep, who goes to the World Series and everything. You can stay in action even if the Astros don't stay in action. So, guys, go ahead and check out PrizePicks. It's all you have to do is just download the app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Run your game, PrizePicks. That's the way to do it.
So, Eric, look, hey, you know what? That's kind of the way this season has gone. So I think it was apropos that the commercials go a little off the rails. I mean, that's what happened, right? So, here's the thing, though. This team does need to get younger. This team, I don't think, feels like they have a fork in them that they're done. For one, I'm not going to root for the Tigers. I'm not going to root for anybody. I'm just going to root for good baseball. I don't care who wins at this point. If the Astros aren't in it, it doesn't mean a hill of beans to me. But one of the things we can do throughout the postseason is when we have shows. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, y'all. We're still going to do our shows. We're still going to be here Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday every week. So you guys stop by, check us out. We'll pull different topics. We'll probably have some mailbags, some listener question episodes. I'll be working on getting some interviews here and there since it's the off season for us. And so, be looking for that. I think it'll be a good variety of things to come. And Eric, this is something that we haven't said.
What?
7 games in a row, the Houston Astros have lost at home in the playoffs. 7 games in a row.
Crap.
Yeah. This was their 7th game in a row at home to lose. So that needs to be fixed. You know,
I thought they fixed it. Like this season, they're much better at home than
they were better.
last
They
year.
were better. But in the playoffs, we're 0-7. Oh, and AJ Hinch had an interesting comment. They asked him after game 1 how he felt about the crowd going crazy, how he felt. Was he uncomfortable? Was he worried? He goes, I'm in a different uniform. I know what it was like being over there. But my goal is to get the Tigers to the next round of the playoffs. He goes, I was locked in. I wasn't worried about the crowd. AJ Hinch, losing him and losing Luna at the time, everybody says we weren't punished for 2017. That was an absolute punishment. And AJ Hinch proved today why he's such a good manager. Eric, he's taken a team of nobodies. He's taken a team that's not a good offense, but he's got a bullpen. All his pitchers, Eric, they aren't re-signable or free agent or anything until after the 2026 season. This group that they have is sticking together. This guy worked a clinic in putting pitchers in with the right matchup. I mean, that's hard to beat. And that's why I tell people all the time, the Astros were punished. AJ Hinch leaving, that was, and I'm telling you right now, I know, well, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty convinced that Manfred got with Crane and said, the players are immune because the players union has them protected. Somebody's head has got to roll. The two people that makes the most sense, your coach and your GM. They're the ones closest to the action. They got to go. And AJ Hinch was asked today after the game, what about like with 2020? Like, was it a good thing that that the 2020 season was the pandemic year, the year that you sat out? Did that help relieve some of the sting? And he said, no. He said, because I had to sit there and think about what happened. And I felt bad. And I still get crap for it. He goes, I go to stadiums. Nobody else hears it, but I do. And he just put on a master class. And the Astros didn't have enough bullets in the gun to fire back at the Tigers. And unfortunately, you have an all ALDS with nothing but AL Central teams, the Guardians, and now the Tigers. Oh, and guess who else exited early? Again, the Orioles. The Orioles got swept by the Royals.
Oh, they did? They found,
Yep,
I was watching the game.
Everybody thought the Royals were dead in the water. The Orioles, nope, they can't get the job done. They're great in the regular season. They can't get it done in the playoffs. So now you got the Royals and the Yankees. Can you imagine? I'm sorry, Yankees fans, but I would love if the Royals knock off the Yankees. And can you imagine it being the Royals and the Tigers, or the Royals and the Guardians? Who would have seen that coming at the beginning of the year? Maybe the Royals, but this is crazy playoff baseball. If you love baseball, be careful, because it will always break your heart.
I think even if we play the Royals at this point, the way the offense was, the way everything kind of transpired, I think we probably would have lost to Royals too. I mean, I just think that
they're playing like, I agree.
So that's why I was worried about both teams. But if you asked me at a podcast which team I'd rather face, it was the Tigers. But I just didn't realize what a cohesive team they are. They don't have the top talent. They have a bunch of young talent. I think that the oldest player on there is 28 or something like that. But they have a team that's gonna be
the oldest player is 28.
Yeah, that's what I thought I said. The oldest player.
Yeah. No, okay.
I said youngest, then I corrected myself, said oldest.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But you don't have to have all the veterans out there. You don't have to have all the top guys out there.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say earlier in the show. So maybe it's okay if the Astros let Justin Verlander go. Maybe instead of doing that, they bring Kikuchi back. I'd rather have Kikuchi back than Verlander.
Because
I don't want to let Bregman go, but at the same time, I don't know which one I'd rather keep. If it's Bregman or Tucker, that's going to be that's something we're going to be talking about until we decide what's going on, or we find out what's going on with Bregman. But that's going to be a tough decision. And Framber Valdez, he's good during the regular season. He has some good starts in the playoffs, but man, he could come unglued just like that.
Yeah, but again, it was 1 inning. It was 3 runs. It's not like he gave up 10
I
runs in
know.
the first 3 innings. So, I mean, say what you want about Fromber, it was just 3 runs. I mean, say what you want about Hunter Brown giving up the solo shot, it was 1 run.
I don't care about that. Yeah.
So, but look, at the end of the day, we all know it didn't end the way we wanted it to end. But this team is they still have some mainstays. We're getting back Garcia, we're getting back Chris, we're getting back Jose Urquidy. What will the pitching staff look like? What will our bullpen look like? Who is going to rise? Who is going to be a surprise person at the beginning of the year on the roster? I mean, there are so many things for us to talk about. Bryce Matthews was actually at both games. A friend of mine's son took a picture with him during game 1. He was there at Minute Maid. They typically go support their players because Bryce knows a lot of those guys because he's played with them. So, hey, Eric, this has been fun this year. It didn't end the way we wanted it to, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I don't think there's a lack of storylines for us in the offseason. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned with us.
Hey guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Like he said, we'll be around. We'll be here. We'll go and talk about more about what happened this year. We'll go and reflect over the next week or so. We'll go and look forward at some point as to what the Astros need to do. And we'll look at what's going on in the playoffs. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. We'll see you tomorrow, and go Stros.
Go Stros. That's a wrap.